All right, so on the program this morning, we are negotiating new trade dynamics for Nigeria in a changing global trade landscape. Well, earlier in the year, the U.S. president, that's President Donald Trump, talked about tariffs being imposed on most countries, citing some kind of imbalance in the trading relations that the U.S. has with most other countries. So this morning, let's look at that changing landscape and its impact on Nigeria. All right, joining me on the phone line this morning, Dr. Obiora Amadu, who's an export consultant. He's also the Director General, African Center for Supply Chain. Dr. Amadu, it's been quite a while. Good morning.
Good morning, Victor, and how are you guys today?
We are very good. We're very good. All right, so let's jump in on the conversation. We're talking about the changing landscape for trade across the world, and I need you to give us a kind of context to all of this. I know all of this is as a result of the dynamics coming from the United States in terms of imposing tariffs. So how is the global trade landscape changing? Talk to us.
Okay, if we are talking about the global trade shifts now, it's a lot of things beyond Trumpism. For example, climate-linked market access now. You have to achieve some level of sustainability to be able to access certain markets, particularly in the EU. The carbon border adjustment and the rest of the things that relate to the climate. Then also there is the digital trade rules, which WTO had put in place, which is influencing e-commerce. Because e-commerce is actually booming and creating a lot of businesses and challenges at the same time for supply chains.
Right.
Then, of course, the continental integrations that are happening, it is expected that AFTA is going to actually shake the global trade. All things being equal, though, all things being equal, because there's a lot of work at home. The shifts, if you look at, for example, we the big boy that we are as a country,
right,
the sleeping giants, we have lost the hub, the logistics hub for West and Central Africa. For West Africa, the logistics hub has shifted from Nigeria to Togo, to the extent that there was a news item that the U.S. government and the Russian government said that most of their West African-bound cargo will head to Togo. So all this, then of course Trumpism and the duty, the 10% flat, the 50% on metals, 20% on vehicles, and a whole lot. All these put together,
right? It's bringing a whole lot of shift.
Yes,
all right.
Lot of shift in the global trade.
Okay, then. So Dr. Obiora Amadu, I need you to get closer to that phone so that we all can hear you very well. So, what is the implications of all of this on Nigeria's trade relationship?
Can you come again? Because I am speaking into the mic now, but
yes.
I'm not also hearing you guys clearly.
Okay, which is much better now. So I'm saying you've just given us a background. You've just given us a context of the global landscape and how it is changing. So, and I'm saying, what is the implication of all of this for Nigeria's trade relationship?
Well, the Nigerian trade relationship globally is affected by everything we have mentioned one way or the other. It means that we have to make a lot of adjustments within. At the moment, I'm very happy with the new Minister for Trade and Investment. The strides she's making on the international trade since, along with Export Promotion Council, I think this is like the best of time in that very particular sector, given what the minister is doing. So it also means that a lot of work has to be done at home. First of which I think is that we have to improve on trade facilitation.
Okay.
Trade facilitation is one of the main jobs, or rather the main job of customs. For a very, very long time, customs ignored trade facilitation and were concerned about revenue collection for government.
Right.
Right now, they claim that they have shifted and looking at trade facilitation, but we are waiting to see the positive impact that their new change will bring to the market.
All right. So
the other thing also is we have to go towards trade export that because one of our items
we lost you for a bit there, Dr. Obiora Amadu. You said one other thing is for us to do what?
Export diversification.
Okay.
Export diversification. Nigeria is currently making a lot of effort in that direction, moving beyond crude and putting a lot more effort into agro. In 1963, when we became a or rather in 1960 when we got independent, agriculture was earning about 93.7% of the total foreign exchange earning for the country.
Right.
But we found oil and ignored it. But right now we have seen that is the way to go. Because we are selling fossil fuel with all its challenges. We are also investing in alternative energy and the rest. So we know that it's only a matter of time. The other thing that Nigeria needs to do is to position properly for after. After is something big when it happens. It's going to be something big when it happens. But only countries that are prepared solidly within will be able to enjoy the advantage that will come from it. So it's a lot of work. Our crude is subject to the 10% flat this thing on Trump's side.
Right.
Even our few exports that are going into the U.S. So it means we have to be looking for market elsewhere because those duties are definitely going to slow down the market, reduce consumption. So it's something I hope that people in the right places should sit down and articulate how. In fact, we should try and take a proactive position rather than wait to react. I'll give you an example. AGOA is due for renewal.
Okay, that's the African Growth Opportunities Act.
Yes, it is due for renewal by the end of this month. Some people are praying, but some people are making moves right there in the U.S. Different groups are making moves to the Congress to ensure that it is renewed. But only God knows what the man at the center is going to decide at the end of the day. If it is not renewed, it gets messier for African countries.
All right. So
particularly sub-Saharan Africa.
All right. So you've given us some areas and, of course, the implications of all of this for Nigeria. But in terms of forging new partnerships, let's look at that. Apart from the United States of America, the other day the president went to Brazil and he was coming up with a whole lot of bilateral agreements. Is that an option for Nigeria to really head to? Is that a direction that can yield maximum fruits? What about our relationship with China? What about Canada? What about countries like Netherlands? What can we really do that can yield us maximum returns in terms of trade relations?
Thanks, Victor. America is not and will never be the only market that we have access to. So just like you said, forging new partners is the way to go. But the challenge I have with the visits and the rest of you could sign agreements, but your people locally, are they prepared to be able to fulfill your own position of those agreements that you sign?
What do you mean by that?
Is your country prepared to take advantage of that very agreement for the benefit of the country? That is where the challenge is. We have a lot of work to do at home. I talked about trade facilitation, export diversification.
Right.
Because these are the things that will lead you into new markets. Look at other things. Of course, I will always go back to talk about services export, which we are not paying any attention to now. That is part of the diversification. So the issue is that I agree with you. We need FDI, foreign direct investment. We need to look for other markets to partner with. But the fact is, if you are not prepared at home and you sign those agreements, you will not be able to take advantage of it.
So let's look at what then. So what are those things that is needed?
Yeah. Back to what I said earlier, trade facilitation.
Right.
You need to empower SMEs. Everybody agrees that SMEs are the engine of economic growth. Everybody says that. But nobody does something concrete to really empower these SMEs to be able to do that. You can see the growth of Adire is becoming a kind of world uniform. It's beginning to move around the world, around the continents of the world, and everybody is
embracing it,
and the rest of them.
Right.
So those things, like under AGOA, one of the very strong things we should have taken advantage which we did not is arts and crafts.
Okay.
It's arts and crafts. So if we would need to start removing attention from these very, very traditional items, because those new partnerships we are looking for may not be for those older things that sustained the economy. So we need to do a lot of work, because we need to sit down, check where are our strengths. These markets we are looking for, what are the things that will be the best for us in those markets? It's a homework.
Right.
It's a homework we have to do.
Okay, let's talk about infrastructure for all of this, because a lot of times when we're talking about how to stimulate trade and also bring about economic growth, some infrastructure must be put in place for that to be actualized. Let's talk about transport, infrastructure, logistics. How are we faring in this direction?
Victor, that is part of the issues about the doing homework, which I talked about actually, because the infrastructural requirement is high. Again, we need to sit down and look at where are the infrastructures where we can put some money and it will give us the fastest results within the shortest possible time. If it is arts and crafts, for example, then what are the infrastructures in that direction? One infrastructure that everybody needs is power.
Okay.
Everybody. Those who are in textiles, which is one place we have strength. I saw on social media the other day a young girl making shoes. The shoes that I saw that she was packaging to send to people can match shoes anywhere in the world. But when there's no light to cut those patterns and the rest of them, it's a problem. So infrastructure, it starts from power. Then the transport infrastructure is actually one of the biggest challenges, because when logistics is very expensive, infrastructure is not available, the result is uncompetitiveness. Your product will not be competitive in the market. So whatever kind of arrangement or new partnerships you want to form, those things can hold you down. That's why homework is the best thing to do first, then we can look out for the partnerships.
All right, then Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, negotiating new trade dynamics for Nigeria in a changing global trade landscape is our focus this morning. Dr. Obiora Amadu is an export consultant. He is also the Director General of the African Center for Supply Chain. He is our guest on the program. We're going to take a short break right now. When we return, we'll be finding out what is the next level. What are the quick fixes that we can put in place for Nigeria to maximize some of the opportunities that this changing landscape will bring. And of course, we'll also be hearing from you too. And that will be on 091-5387-7127. A brief break. We'll be back.
From A to B, from north to south, from east to west, from port to port, you can ship your goods and feel good too. Oh yeah, Nigeria Ship and Stencil, we meet you at the point of your need.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline 0818-888-8895. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos, or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Maritime Today is the program, and I still have Dr. Obiora Madu on the line with us this morning. He is talking about the changing global trade landscape and the dynamics that Nigeria should explore in a bid to really take advantage of this time. Eric Moore, and talking about the Surulere and Masha Aguda. Eric Moore in and out of Igomu Bridge, connecting Doyin, looking pretty good at the moment. And from there, linking up with Bode Thomas Junction, not bad at all. The stretch of Babs Zanima Shaun is also very good. And if you're heading in and out of Sensors, as well as doing all those corridors, very quiet at this time. All right, then, if you want to join the conversation, feel free to do so. And that will be on 091-5387-7127. Dr. Obiora Madu, let's get back to this. So, now that we've seen what is happening across the globe, what are the quick fixes? What are the things that we need to do urgently right now for us to at least benefit from this wind of change that is blowing across the world in terms of trade?
Thanks, Victor. You know, I said earlier, we have to be proactive. I mentioned trade facilitation. One thing I think Nigeria would do is to make trade facilitation non-negotiable. That's one infrastructure which will help us. Then the other thing is stability of policies. Recently, we heard about an import, this 4% on surcharge on products being imported on FOB.
Right.
A few weeks later, we saw another memo suspending or cancelling it, and the rest of them. We need stability on the policy side.
Okay.
We also need to complete the single window. Since 2013, so many African countries are successfully operating their single window. We need to complete our own, because it brings a lot of advantages into the market. It brings transparency. It makes life easier for those that are trading. In fact, it is part of what will constitute trade facilitation. Government have made a very strong statement that by March next year it must take off.
That's right.
And I know that those who are involved are working very hard on it. Hopefully it will take off.
All right. So quickly, just hold on 1 second. Hold on. The earlier reported broken down loaded truck with farm produce at Koshofe inwards mile 12. I understand is now off the road. So it's a very good drive. If you're heading inwards Korodu this morning, it is looking very good. Yes. So you are about bringing in another point on what we need to do. Quick fix.
Yes. Quality standards. You know, the quality standard internationally is meant for everybody. It is neither for people from first world, third world, second or fourth. So we need to fast track our quality infrastructure.
Okay.
We need to fast track our quality infrastructure. Of course, you know that our beans still remain banned in Europe. I'm not aware that it has been lifted.
All right.
So we need to improve our quality infrastructure, because that way, in fact, anytime you are identified as a destination where quality products come from, that is a competitive advantage in the market.
All right, then. Let me just interrupt you in that regard. There's a question here. It says, Doctor, why don't we see Nigerian brands in international supermarkets the way we see Chinese or Indian brands? Chigozie is sending that one in. Thank you so much, Chigozie. So, Dr. Obiora, that's a question for you.
I think he has the answer too, because the fact is that there's an adage that the people who started cooking much earlier will have a lot of old and bad pots that have spoiled.
Okay.
So the thing is that there was a consistent effort. I'll give you an example. Somebody went to JETRO, Japanese Trade this Center in Nigeria.
Okay.
And was talking to the guy about exporting Nigerian goods to Japan. And the man was not paying attention to him. The man was waiting for those who want to come and import, which means that countries must make effort to sell. Right now, from the diplomatic point of view, that is from embassies and high commissions, we are not doing well at the moment.
Okay.
We are not doing well. So it is something we have to be consistent. Like this idea we were talking about, it is consistency. Nigerian dishes are also, I don't know where you will go to in the globe now, you will ask for Nigerian dish restaurant and you don't find it. But then it is us that will put it on the platform, on the global platform.
Right.
I can tell you a lot of white guys are now interested in Nigerian
cuisine.
But those are single. But you have to bring it to a platform where you say Chinese restaurants and the rest of them. We really need. It requires effort.
So it's very urgent that the president must appoint the diplomats right now, because this is 2 years into his administration.
Very much.
All right. Okay. So
we didn't even have commercial attaches in so many embassies.
Wow.
So how do you sell your country to come and become like China and Indian dishes on the dishes? So we need to do something about that.
All right. More reactions are coming in for you, Dr. Obiora Madu. This one says, good morning and happy weekend. How much does global politics like US-China trade wars affect Nigeria's own trade chances? Elijah is sending this one in from K2. All right. Global politics, China, US. So anyway, Dr. Obiora will answer that one. Another one here says, sir, what lessons can Nigeria learn from countries like Vietnam or Brazil that turned exports into real growth? You didn't put your name, but thank you so much. Another message here says, good morning, Victor and Dr. Madu. Why does it feel like other African countries are moving faster in trade than Nigeria? Anu is sending this one in as well. All right, so you have some questions to answer there, Dr. Obiora Madu. So first off,
Can you take the first question again, because I'm interested in that very particular question while I answer others.
So he says US-China trade wars. He says, how will it affect Nigeria's own trade chances?
That's fine. I think we need to build ourselves as a nation to grow above those wars that are happening between other countries. Those wars between them is affecting the entire global. But every country is trying to build in the shock absorbers at their end. So the question is, are we building shock absorbers that are strong enough to be able to shield us from these wars? Because it will continue to happen. Okay. It will continue to happen. I don't see the China and American trade rifts ending in a few times. And then for the person who is asking how did he say how African countries and the rest of them are, whether they are doing better than us. The point is that 2/3 of every export activity happens at home.
Okay.
So I keep mentioning capacity building for SME, very, very important. Infrastructure, very, very important. One of the biggest challenge for, if you put them on scale, for SMEs, in exports, SMEs generally, and in export is finance, access to finance.
Okay. All right. So quickly,
these things are not rocket science. These things are things we can do. You see companies, they are producing, they have capacity to export. You can single out a few of them, provide them with funding, put people on their board.
All right.
To safeguard your fund. We must think differently. There must be something different that we are willing to do. We don't If we continue to do the same thing, we'll continue to get the same result.
All right, so let's talk about this question about Vietnam and Brazil that has turned exports into real growth. Somebody is sending that in. How can Nigeria do that as well? Is this something that we can do?
It is, Victor. It's not rocket science. Everybody is familiar with the story that in 1962, Malaysia collected their first palm fruit from Nigeria. It's a sing song. Everybody knows it. The question is, go to Malaysia now and see what they have been able to do with palm fruit. What have we done with our own? From the airport, from Malaysian airport in Kuala Lumpur, while you are getting into town, left and right, you see beautiful palm plantations. Properly attended to. So it is the same thing. Vietnam, most of our raw cashew nuts actually head to Vietnam. Vietnam also does cashew. They have prepared themselves for the international market.
Right.
If you start packaging cashew nuts from here into the international market, you have a challenge.
All right.
Vietnam has been able to build international brand that they can buy raw cashew from us, prepare it, and put it out in the market.
Let's begin to round this all up right now, Dr. Obiora Madu. This is September, heading towards October already. So the year is already gone. So in very, very short response, what are your expectations? Especially now that the global trade is changing across the world. What are the things that you're hoping for Nigeria? Quickly.
Well, I will appeal to the minister, because I think the minister... coming from ease of doing business where she was, is actually a square peg in a square hole. There is a lot of work to do internally. There is a lot of work to do. The government agencies must learn collaboration, whether they like it or not. Because that's one thing that will help us.
Okay.
We must go and check what is happening at our ports and aviation and airports. Why are our fees so high that an aircraft will prefer to land in Nigeria after dropping goods, buy sandbags to be able to fly out rather than load consignment because of fees?
All right. Okay.
Why have we lost the hub that we were naturally located for to Togo, small Togo beside there? These are questions, if we answer these questions and step back and take proactive actions,
all right,
next year will be better for us.
All right, then. We'll leave it at that for now. Dr. Obiora Madu, it's always a pleasure to have you join us with the pool of wealth that you're dishing out to Nigerians. Thank you so much for connecting with us this morning.
My pleasure, Victor.
Okay, then. So we'll be able to negotiate new trade dynamics for Nigeria in a changing global trade landscape. And Dr. Obiora Madu, who is an export consultant of note, also Director General, African Center for Supply Chain, has taken us to the classroom this morning. Let's go. Mike James has produced the program this morning. Maximum thanks to Dio Anthony and also to Esther Alo, who is in the building. Let me appreciate Okpayemi Shodunke and Daniel Downsey. Our executive producer is Taya Conley. Maximum shout out going out to Rebecca Adamu, Assistant Director of Public Relations for the Nigerian Shippers Council. You can connect with the Shippers Council on all their platforms at NG Shippers. My name is Victor Terry. Have a splendid weekend. Bye.